My grandma came to visit last November break. Now, you should know that when my grandma comes to visit, it's more than just a simple visit. We do everything and anything that you might think of. We go on shopping sprees, we go to restaurants, we go to new theme parks. My grandma just turned 70 years old, but somehow she's the one dragging us out of bed each morning. My grandma comes from an older generation. Traditional beliefs, polished shoes, a deep love for structure. She dedicated more than 30 years of her life to shaping the young minds of individuals. But during her stay here, she noticed something that was truly astonishing. And no, it wasn't the climate or the American cheese, but it was pajamas. Yes, pajamas. You see, my grandma, she went and stayed with my cousin in Orlando, Florida at her home. And my cousin, she attends a public high school. And she noticed that when she was going to drop her off at her drop-off line at school, how there were students going to school in pajamas. They looked like they just rolled out of bed. And to my grandma, this was truly astonishing. They didn't have no dress code. They didn't have polos or khakis. No real attempt at decency. My grandma, she comes from this generation, and in Colombia, it's really common to wear your basic uniform with your basic polos and go to school nice and dressed. And she wasn't shocked at what they were wearing, but more of their mindset. You see, as an Hispanic, I always grew up around the importance of presenting yourself. And how you present yourself is how you prepare yourself. Because when you present yourself well, you're able to start your day with a refreshed mindset. And as a young girl, I remember always asking my mother why I had to shower in the morning instead of the evening like all the other little kids. Well, she always embedded in me the importance of getting ready for the day. And she told me that it was better to leave the house refreshed instead of looking like you just fought with your pillow and lost. Now, back then, I really thought that she hated bedhead, but I didn't realize that she was instilling something deeper in me. She was instilling drive. Now, drive isn't just motivation, it's deeper than that. Drive is the engine that keeps you going even when life throws potholes, detours, or the occasional existential crisis. Motivation is just a burst, but drive is that battery. Now, drive is what keeps us going even when moments get difficult. Even when life gets hard, drive allows us to maintain our calm and continue. It's important to realize how fundamental drive is in society nowadays, as the loss of drive can impact our societies. It has been seen that in the workplace, drive and the loss of drive has affected how we enter our work week. And you may have heard of this recent Gen Z trend called Bare Minimum Mondays, where employees are entering the work week trying to do the least amount of possible work on Mondays. And this Gen Z trend is truly a representation of how there's a growing disconnection between younger employees and those work traditional values. According to Society Human Resource Management, this not only affects our workplace, but also decreases productivity levels. Now, this goes beyond the work setting. In fact, it's affecting our educational systems. In fact, they're seeing how fewer enrollment rates in college are occurring and how students are losing that drive to be able to achieve greater things such as higher education. But here's the kicker. It's not only in our education systems, but it's affecting our deep societal values as there are lesser minorities entering high school and college graduation. Essentially, what can be seen by PBS News is that in 2021, when Tennessee was evaluated in their graduation rates, it was seen how 35% of Hispanics and 44% of African American students were the ones graduating high school, compared to their 58% of white peers. Now, this is something that's truly sad, in my opinion, as a Hispanic. I look at this and I say, wow, we're losing those role models, we're losing representation, and our future, it's losing its reflection. Because when we are not able to fill up those spots as those minorities, then we tell our future generations that there's no importance in truly achieving greater things. And these younger generations start to lose their mirrors because we lose people that we think sound like us and look like us and get us because of the experiences that we have lived. And this overall affects our future. Now, success, it's not just defined by the number of zeros in your bank account or how much money you earn each year. Success is that passion that fuels that dream that you have. It's what doesn't let you sleep until your dream wakes up. It's important to see that in today's society, many teens today ask themselves, how can I become the next Elon Musk? How can I achieve the next big thing? And we don't realize that we don't have the drive to be able to achieve those great things. In society, it's important to embed these driven values. It's important to be able to conquer new things and reach new heights, because if we're not progressing as a society, then what are we doing? We're staying still. Now, the real question that we have to ask ourselves is, how do we achieve drive? How are we able to embed this value into our everyday lives? Well, it all begins with asking 3 simple questions. What do you want to be? What motivates you to get out of bed each morning and to continue fulfilling your purpose? And what are you going to do with this goal that you set? This outlines the simple 4-step framework for what I like to call the Drive Guide. Now, the Drive Guide is outlined in 4 simple steps. The first one is finding your reason, finding your why, finding why I should continue going through life in this direction. That leads me to my second step, which is defining your goal. With this reason, with this purpose that you set, you're able to achieve greater things, but you must have an objective that allows you to continue propelling. But to be able to define this goal, you have to carefully plan it. And I would like to now mention an outline or a basis that I like to set to be able to outline those goals. Now, to be able to specifically outline a goal, you have to be able to use SMART or SMART regulations. It's just an example of how you're able to accurately define this goal and to be able to purposefully achieve it. Now, SMART can be defined by specific, measurable, achievable, relevance, and time attainable. To be able to allow you to visually comprehend this, I would like to present an example. Well, supposedly I'm the one who wants to set a goal for myself, and let's say that I work in a place that attends a lot of Spanish-speaking customers. Well, my specific goal is going to be able to hold a fluent conversation with a Spanish speaker for a certain amount of time. Now, how am I going to be able to measure this? Well, I'm going to try and hold a 25-minute conversation with this person. But how am I able to achieve this and be able to make sure it fits in my schedule? Well, I'm going to be able to fulfill or allow myself to work and practice for 2 hours a week on this certain goal. But what am I able to achieve with this goal? The relevancy of this is very important, and understanding why you want to achieve this goal is important in life. The relevancy of this goal that I set for myself is that I'm able to provide a better customer experience to those around me and in my work setting. And I want to achieve this in a time-attainable manner, and I'm going to say around 3 months. Now, this example of the goal that I just set is a way that you're able to outline your goals to make sure that you achieve everything with a purpose and that you're embedding drive into everything that you do. This leads me to my last and final step of the Drive Guide, which is making sure that you actually do it. If you plan and you prepare, but then you actually don't do it, then what was the purpose of doing it? Now, this theory, it's not just a myth or a made-up concept. In fact, it's something that goes much deeper than that. And my school here at NeoCity Academy is living proof of what we do every day and how we embed drive into our students. NeoCity Academy was built off on the basis that students have the power to take control over their education and decide for themselves what they want to be in their futures. Here we have a 100% graduation rate and a 96% post-secondary path. And our students here are truly impeccable and unlike any other students in the county. A recent example that I would like to highlight is Many of our junior students, as we see here today, they're able to be accepted into elite summer programs that are very competitive, but that truly set you up for the future. Some of the examples have been Leadership Enterprise for a Diverse America, which is a 5-week residential program at Princeton and Yale, and everything is paid for. And also the Bank of America for Student Leaders, which is a paid internship for the whole summer, and with only a 2.6 acceptance rate. Now, what I would really like to highlight in these students that were accepted, it wasn't NeoCity Academy that gave them all the answers to everything that they had to do, but instead they just presented them with an opportunity. They presented them with a chance. And these students were the ones who were able to go out and make sure that they fulfilled and they took advantage of this opportunity that they were given. They had a purpose, they had a dream, they had that ambition, and they wanted to be able to reach better things for their future. It's important to realize that in our society, drive is that motor, it is that engine that keeps us going, even when we think that there's no clear way out. Imagine a future where our society has schools that fuel passion, where workplaces are able to spark that curiosity, and where our communities are able to build leaders instead of just managing them. It's important to take the example of our school here at NeoCity Academy and take it further and expand it out into the world. Drive is that motor and that engine that will allow us to continue going and to continue reaching new heights. Let's stop asking what's the bare minimum or what is the minimal effort and start asking what's my next level. Because when we stop focusing on doing just enough to get by and we start focusing on how we can rise, then that is when true change begins. So let us build that future, one driven individual at a time. Thank you.